Doesn't that music feel so good? Yes, I love y'all loving our new music, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. I'm looking outside. I'm looking at the trees blowing and the rain coming down, and it just feels so. Couple that with the music, and it feels. Y'all better smile. Listen, I'm smiling. It feels good. That music feels good. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your what? Your money. Now, today we're going to dive into a tough but a very necessary topic. Have Black people made poverty and struggle glamorous? Well, we're fabulous, so we can make anything glamorous. But for generations, Black people have been forced to survive under very difficult conditions, y'all. But has our resilience turned into something more? From glorifying the struggle to rejecting wealth as acting white. Come on, y'all. But is poverty becoming a part of our culture? Do we embrace it because we have no choice? Or have we been conditioned to think it's all that we deserve? Mindset is everything. We're going to unpack this. I have some of the dopest, amazingest queens and king on the planet. First up, we have Miss Vanessa Gopal. She is an entrepreneur. And yes, guess what, y'all? Y'all know what it is. She got a master's. Listen, she ain't got no certificate. She ain't got no AA. She ain't got a bachelor's. Homie got a master's in public policy. And then we got the who? The B.Big. Coach. Hey, the B.A. What you say? At the B.Big. Coach. Hey, she is a coach, a licensed clinical mental health counselor, and she's always going to bring the positivity up in this thing. Even in the most triflingest situations, she gonna bring the positive. Then we got Dr. Joe. Dr. Joe is a therapist, and he's going to help therapize us because this mentality, really, Black people, we have post-traumatic slave syndrome, and honestly, we need therapy. So that's why we got not one, but two people who are going to bring it all on the table. And then we're going to break down why we glamorize the struggle. But before we get in the conversation, y'all, let's watch this video.
I think Black people have, this may ruffle some feathers, but I don't give a fuck. I feel like Black people have revolutionized poverty and made it look so fucking cool that people think we like it.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie.
I think that Black people have made poverty look so cool that people think we fucking like it, bro. We don't like it. We're just making the best of it.
Even the trauma that come from it, niggas aspire to it. Like, niggas want to be a tough nigga. You don't realize this nigga ain't tough. This nigga just watched his daddy die and his mama on drugs, and like his life, that nigga traumatized. That nigga got PTSD. He ain't tough,
but he's
traumatized, to the point where a nigga could grow up in a home like this and aspire to be from the projects.
It's because, unfortunately, people think that Blackness is tied to poverty. They think that the Black experience is being poor. That's why when you have others who equate poverty to being Black, I don't have any privilege, I grew up poor. Why the fuck do you think because you've been broke that you know what it feels like to be Black? No, you don't. You've just been poor.
Well, I think that those people that say they're just liars. It's like, just like
I think like I said, we made poverty look so easy and so cool that they think that it's
we just are cool. You're not gonna take the cool. You're not gonna take the rhythm.
Is for the cool.
Yeah, you're not gonna take the rhythm out of Black people's steps. You're not gonna keep Black people quiet.
I think we're always gonna be too loud. And
you're never gonna stop us from being creative. So we're gonna find ways to express. And it's just as much as you're gonna have somebody that is gonna be critical of America, you're gonna have somebody that celebrate their neighborhood.
Correct.
And both things exist. And I think that you get into glorification when you got record labels pretty much creating a blueprint for what our music should be.
Right.
And they put it in a spreadsheet. This does well and this does well.
And they got a checklist.
And they got a checklist, and these words have to be mentioned, and this is the subject matter.
And you're going to tell me Blackness.
And you're going to tell me Black.
There's so much to unpack. I see Dr. Fleece over there taking notes. Like, we got to go line through line because there was a lot to unpack in that one short video. First of all, to y'all that are watching, what do you think? Do you guys think that Black people glamorize poverty or, being from the ghetto? Do you think that's what it is? Is this a new concept? I see RJ McKenzie said, I think it's due to gangster rap culture. But to be honest with you, I think, Black has been synonymized with poverty for much longer than gangster rap. I don't know that it was glamorized back then, but it's certainly, it certainly is glamorized now. So I'm gonna start with you, Miss Public Policy. What did you think? What are some things that really stuck out to you in that video?
I mean, I think all the things
Speak
that
up.
they were speaking of,
Speak up.
I think all the things that they were speaking on were very valid points. I think that rap music has glamorized. I think that there's always been, unfortunately, a struggle with Black Americans in the United States, right? There's always been a struggle, but I think it's definitely been glamorized through music. But it's also sort of been rewarded because, like, when we're talking about music that is positive, music that does not promote some of the things that we've seen in rap, those type of deals that they don't, those people don't get the big deals. So I mean, I think that, once again, it's we're gonna make anything feel and look cool. Like, I just feel like we have a way of being resilient, but I also feel like we're sort of being exploited through the process by only giving money, or running certain music on the radio that is destructive, that promotes the destruction and of like Black culture. Because when you don't hear great, like, good music, and there's tons of artists that promote good stuff, but they don't get the same look. So I mean, I think those are very valid points, but I do believe in general nobody's going to stop, no matter what we are in poverty or dealing with racist America. Black people have a way of being resilient and making it look dope and cool, and that's just us as a people.
Yeah. Yeah. The great philosopher, R&B musician Tank said, our violence isn't the threat, our love is. And when it comes to these record labels, that's why he said that the love music is not getting, $100 million advance or a $50 million advance. It's the violent music. This is what they promote. This is what the powers that be push out there. It's not necessarily what the people want, but it's when it's being shoved down your throat, and those are the only options that you have, then that's what you're going to get. So our violence isn't the threat to white America. J. Edgar Hoover saying the biggest threat to America was Negro unity. Our love is the threat. What did you think when you saw that, Joe?
I started thinking about that episode of Good Times. Sorry, I know who you're talking about. That when they threw that rent party, y'all remember that one?
I seen something that said that they actually used to do that in the 70s where they threw rent parties.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
that
I
pretty
remember
much.
that. Remember they thought she was eating dog food?
Yeah.
That was my show, y'all.
I started thinking about that. I started thinking about, the pride you feel when you get on a plane and you see some Black folks in first class. You're like, we made it. Make you feel like we all get up there. I mean, all the things was going through my head when I saw that clip. I started thinking about all the times that we, glorify just a little bit of success, or, what I'm saying, or what choice do we have, honestly, if we actually sat around and thought about our real existence in this country, we would always sit and be miserable. So we have no choice
Mm-hmm.
but
We
to
have
glorify, to glamorize the struggle. Otherwise, we just be all depressed.
Yeah, I mean that means we can make something out of nothing, and that's the beautiful thing about us as a people is we could just turn struggle into glamour. We are fabulous.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing right now. I'm sure I'm still like processing in my head. You know what I mean? I'm taking. I'll have something for you in about 10 minutes.
It's a lot because she said a whole lot in that. They both said a whole lot that I think that we can really pull from. There's definitely a lot of truth in it. It's a lot of truth, and we have to take responsibility, but it's not all us. And that's, I think, the thing that is really important to understand. But Felice, what do you think?
I just want to commend you. I want to commend this is a great topic, and Lord have mercy, every week y'all got me like really doing some really big introspection. But when I was thinking about what she said, first of all, the first thing that came to my mind was, when did we start glamorizing the struggle? I mean, I grew up in the hood, and I grew up in Brooklyn in the projects, and wasn't nothing glamorous about it. And so I want to know, when did the glamour come into poverty? And then I know when she said music plays a big role in that. But if you think about our ancestors and slavery, that's when our greatest hymns came from that time frame.
And hymns weren't about glamour. It was about us overcoming. It was about us triumphing. It was about us uniting. It was about us finding a common faith to be able to pull through our present situations. So when did the flip come? And even in those times, who was glamorizing slavery? Who was glamorizing Jim Crow? Who was glamorizing the civil rights movement? So how do we fast forward to here, and our people are still not where they're supposed to be, and we're glamorizing it? And I think about because I go through the Bible all the time. I just keep going through it. And when the Hebrew slaves came out of slavery, when they were in Egypt, they were enslaved for 400 years. But when they came out rich. There was a transfer of wealth. Well, when is our transfer going to happen? And why are we not doing something to stop? Like we got to stop this mindset. Like there's nothing glamorous around poverty. And I don't subscribe. And I'm not one of those Black folk that think it's glamorous. And I grew up, and even when I was in the hood, I didn't feel it, right? Like I really didn't know I was poor.
You was one of them bougie hood girls.
No, I wasn't bougie, but I was smart. Now I was always smart, okay. But I wasn't bougie. And I remember the day when I found out that I was poor. And but it wasn't glamorous, but I had my needs met. You know what I mean? Like I had a roof over my head. I had love. I had friends that I could go outside in the circle with and play with, but it wasn't glamour. You know what I mean? And I knew even then that I wanted to strive for and have something better. And so I'm curious, and I grew up with the beatbox. I grew up with hip hop. And even back then, hip hop was more enlightening and, forward thinking and progressive. So I just curious about when the change came that can possibly even take us further backwards.
Yeah. I mean, you got Dr. Felice, there's layers to unpack here because this is not all of our faults. When the Hebrew slaves went out, there was a transferring of wealth because the conditions were different. When we came out of slavery, first of all, it's a different kind of slavery. There was no slavery like American slavery. Let's talk about that first. Sure. We didn't get a transfer of wealth. We didn't get paid for the free labor that we offered this country for 250 years. Then when we did make progress, you have places like the Wilmington massacre in North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, where there was a coup d'etat in America. This is the only place in America where there was actual coup, where they overthrew government officials, which happened to be Black. There was an actual coup where they overthrew them. Every time there was Black progress, we would see resistance from white supremacy. So we've made strides in many different areas. And if it hadn't been for white supremacy, we would be in a far different place. So every time we take 2 steps forward, they push us 10 steps backwards. And so, yes, we can blame ourselves for the glamorization of it, but we were actually put in this position. And I want you to answer that when we come back from the break.
Woo! It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow.
Hey, you want to know and grow. And your boy Boyce Watkins is texting me right now. So my bad, producer. So listen, you guys, we need to sign. Y'all need to sign up for the Fly Nubian Money, because the Fly Nubian Money is where it's at. They're actually doing a new training coming up this weekend, which I'm really excited about, with our very own Marlo, which is going to be an amazing training to optimize your SEO. We're going to talk a little bit about it later. But Felice, did you have something? Because I seen you doing like this. So did you have something you wanted to add to that?
Right, because I want to know then what's the data, right? Like, because I'm big on data. Like, we got all this data, all these patterns, all this information. Mm-hmm. There's something about this data that we need to take and do something differently with. Do 100%. We do like the early civilians did, where they left their country and went and found them their own? Like, I mean, because at what point do we think that we're going to be allowed to be and operate in our true magic here? Like, what delusion is that?
It's a process, boo. I think it's a process. We're going to get there. Because you got to think about it. We've been here 400 years. Literally, Jim Crow was 50 years. So we had more time in bondage than we had free. So it's a process. We didn't get here overnight. It's not going to happen overnight, but I'm optimistic about where we're going as a people. And I think that the powers that be that we have in place right now, because they've been playing in our face for the last 50 years. They've been quiet about all the things. And now we got the playbook. Yo, we see online what Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation has been doing for the last 30 years. We got the playbook. So they think we're dumb. They've underestimated us. And I think we're mobilizing as a people, and we're going to do better. But that's why these conversations are so important, because people's eyes need to be open to what it is that we're doing, that what we need to do, how we've been living, and then we can make transitions. That's where I think we are. But you had a question, Joe?
Yeah, I wanted to, because, Felicia grew up in New York, Brooklyn specifically, right? So thinking about that, I really consume a lot of New York media. Obviously we listen to a lot of music that comes from that area. So I surmise from that New York poverty hit a little different. You know what I mean? Because y'all was like if you in the projects, y'all right on top of each other. And then being it also that's the birthplace of hip hop. That's where a lot of the messaging comes from. And we talking about making the struggle glamorous. All of a sudden, broken glass everywhere, people pissing in the hallways, they just don't care. Like, you didn't grow up anywhere else, but do you feel like being at that struggle that the birthplace of music or hip hop is from your home city, do you feel like that played a role in glamorizing the struggle?
I think that's a great question, and it's possible, right? I think that what they did was, with hip hop, they made lemonade. Like, we had a bunch of lemons, and they figured out how to make lemonade and how to lift. They found a way to get out of the hood. And it was through our creativity. And I don't despise struggle. I really don't. I don't despise discomfort. I believe that you need a both of two in order to be able to get those juices to rise up and give you imagination, give you the desire to innovate and create. But I think that there's a balance, and that there's a wise way to go about how we create and how we develop mindset and how we become visionaries. And it's not by glamorizing, because poverty is not piety. Poverty is a curse. Poverty is not good, and it is not our birthright. Mm-hmm. This is not something that belongs to anyone. And as a child of the Most High God, my birthright is opulence. My birthright is abundance. My birthright is everything good that this world has to offer. Now, that is what needs to be glamorized.
But when you're conditioned to a impoverished mindset, this is like access and proximity is everything. Access and proximity. If you're not in proximity to real wealth or anybody that's doing anything positive, the only thing that you know is what's around you. You know how they say, the people you surround yourself, you're like the 2 or 3 people that you surround yourself with. And if that's all they know, that's all they know. I remember I spoke at an organization for young Black men, and they had taken them to dinner. They had taken them to dinner across town, and they didn't know how to eat with forks. They had never been anywhere outside of south side of Stockton, and they never had anything other than McDonald's because that was their proximity, that was their access. And so you have a lot of that in those areas.
Right, but that's our fault. That's our fault because
wait. I need to know how that's our fault.
Because we got to go back. We got
to go back to what?
We got to
go back to what?
To our hoods, and we got to show them something.
Okay, but what about the people in the hood?
So really, go ahead. You guys are touching on something that I want to just bring up, because Dr. Felice, you said something a while ago that said when I grew up listening to hip hop, and and same here. I grew up listening to gangster rap and hip hop, but I still knew I didn't want poverty. I didn't want to be in poverty. I still wanted more. Mm-hmm. So my question to all of you is that when I think about where the shift happened, do you think it's the erosion of the Black family and the foundation of the family? Because what I see,
factors.
Yeah, because I feel like I saw a clip the other day about this sergeant or sheriff. I don't know which year, but it was in New Orleans. His nephew got arrested for
I saw
possibly
that. Yeah.
fighting, and he showed up, and you could tell he was whatever he was doing. And then they uncuffed him and gave him a hug. Yeah, but I feel like our fathers and male figures have to be stronger than the music and the rap and the influence that they are pushing on our Black men. And I feel like, thinking about how I grew up in a household, I had I was blessed. I had a bonus dad and I had my father. Those influence were greater on me. And I mean, I still got in trouble, but I'm just saying the influence of those two men were greater on me than anything that rap or hip hop or the culture or whatever was happening. It was bigger than those things. So I feel like when I think about the evolution of how we've shifted from like singing hymns and we shall overcome, and even being in the church, because I mean I grew up in the church, right? The shift, I just think about so many the broken families, like our broken families, like how that has, I think, allowed a lot of our Black men to look at rap or look at other people who may not necessarily be good to them and glamorize it, like, oh, the drug dealer's getting money, he got the chains, or so and so got this deal, he's rapping about taking Molly and they got him all over so maybe I should start rapping about Molly, as opposed to having that that influence. I don't know what I mean. Yeah,
I mean, so before we're gonna go to commercial, but Joe, she touched on something that I think was really important. Do you think that Black men aren't stepping up in the way that they need to, in the way that's that could influence or impact the community in the way that it needs to? And we're gonna go on a break, and then we're gonna come back, and I want you to answer that.
I know you're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you, we are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us, so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
Yes, Fly, you ain't got to struggle. So I want you to answer that question. But Felice, I also, after he goes, because you said it's our fault. And I want you to tell us, how do we change that narrative? Like, what is it that we're supposed to do? But Joe, our Black men, do Black need to step in more? Like what we both what they both be doing?
I feel like we have a lot of Black men who show up the way they're supposed to show up, right? I do also believe that there's truth to what Vanessa was talking about the influence of the music, especially in the 90s. You know, like when you think about what was popular in the 90s, who was the biggest artist of the 90s? Probably Snoop, right? And, you know, you think about what he was doing and what he was saying and how that influence. Hey, I had no intention of doing anything with any hoes at any time. You know what I mean? But I was constantly saying, I don't love these hoes. But when I do in fact
Love the
love them.
host.
I walked into that one. I can't even be mad at you. I walked into that one. My bad. But
You were speaking that into existence.
But yeah, but what really was what I'm really trying to make is that I knew how to separate. And this is my lived experience. I knew how to separate it, but I did observe a lot of my peers who didn't know how to separate, who really wasn't living that life, but pretending to live that life. And the popularity of pretending to be something that you're not. And I observed those people today. Now this is 20 years ago. I observed some of them same people today, and they're still on that trajectory. So there are a lot of black men who show up like I do, because I'm in those circles, so I see them. I can't deny them. But there are, in fact, a lot more of us that need to show up differently. And I'll just say this: I have counseled, you know, some what you would consider some hard dudes. You know what I mean? I've seen them. I mean, they've been dragged into therapy through their women, but I've seen them hard dudes, and I've seen how much those hard dudes don't want to be hard.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen them crack. I've seen the moment when they're like, oh, this is me talking about this and somebody telling me that what I experienced wasn't normal. So it's like we just need more guys to recognize what's real and unlearn a certain amount of things. But until we do, we do need more black men to step up. I can't deny that.
You know what you said is so true. You said what?
We got people literally marketing for the death of us. Like they're getting paid. Like it's we want to promote this. Oh, you talk about black community doing mollies and taking drugs and doing lean or shooting each other. Oh yeah, we about to cut you a big check.
Our violence isn't the issue. Our love is.
Yeah, I think the turn is how profitable it is gotten too. Like
it's profitable because it's what they promote.
Imagine
if they promoted something positive.
Coonan has gotten really profitable. Like we have to recognize.
It's promoted.
Yeah, it wasn't as profitable as it was maybe like 10 years ago. Even like right now, like you can really get paid.
You think about the millions of dollars they put behind Coonan, Joe. It's because it's an agenda. I don't believe that black people really think this shit is cool. But if you put enough money behind it and that's all you see, then that's what's going to be profitable. But I do want to touch on something you said because I think it's really important. I grew up in suburbs. I went to a school, Brooktree Elementary. There was 2 black kids in my grade, me and Kevin Walker, and he was a baby kid. And so everybody was Filipino, white, Asian, Mexican. And I remember when Colors came out, right? We know nothing about gangs. I knew about gangs because my uncle in San Diego was a pirate, but nobody knew nothing about gangs. The next week after Colors came out, they would be like, are you blood or cuz? And now all of a sudden people fighting. And now they're gangbangers. It was the wildest thing that I had ever seen in my life. They knew nothing about it, but now all of a sudden they're gangbangers. So you talk about the influence of, you know, Hollywood and the media that has on these children. You know, all of the gangsterism. When NWA came out, we used to talk about people with Jerry curls, right? It was like, y'all know your ass in 89 ain't still wearing a Jerry curl. But when Eazy-E started wearing that Jerry curl, Negroes from all over the country was wearing damn Jerry curls and thought it was cool as shit and it was old and whack as hell. So you got to think about the influence that this type of thing has on regular impressionable children. It really does. But Felice, I did want to ask you, what are you talking about is our fault? I need you to unpack that a little bit more for us.
Because it all starts, everything starts with us. And so you got to
Whose fault?
So you know, I made an example the other day. I had to call my financial analyst and I was like,
maybe you breaking up, or is that me? You breaking up? Was that me?
Am I breaking up? Am I still?
Is it her or is it me?
I can hear her.
Okay, it's me. Go.
So it's my responsibility to take care of mine. And so, and I can't expect other people to take care of mine. And if I believe that I'm a part of the Black community, it is my responsibility to take care of my Black community. So what does that mean? That means that if I am afforded the way and the opportunity and the knowledge to get out, then I have a responsibility to also come back. And I remember when I was in the 5th grade, I was bussed out, but I had a Black teacher who, for whatever reason, believed in me. And he had a summer day camp that he paid for me and my brother to go to. And I believe that was one of the turning points for me in my life. And it only took one person to show me love and to show me that I could see something different. And it changed the trajectory of my life. It changed my hope. It changed my possibility for vision. And it didn't take a whole village. It just took one. And so what am I saying? I'm saying if one of us goes back, and if you just touch the life of one, it has a rippling effect. And if we all did that, because you got enough beautiful Black people out here making change, making coins. If we all decided to go back and just change the life of one kid, what that rippling effect could do, it is our responsibility to take care of our own. And then how else is it our responsibility? Well, we already know that Black people can generate at least $1 trillion a year in money in economics alone.
2 trillion.
Thank you. 2 trillion, right? So what does that mean? I don't have to purchase that music, and I definitely don't have to introduce and have my kid be a privy to it. I don't have to give into the peer pressure of their schools, their parents, my communities. If I say no, I know when I was growing up, now my daughter, any music that I didn't approve of, she had to hear it on the outside, because it sure wasn't coming from my house. And It was nobody coming in my house telling me what my child was listening to, because I knew what she was listening to. I wasn't purchasing anything that wasn't in line with our values. So we have power, but we don't use it. And so you're not going to be able to come to my house and tell me anything, because I know what I'm doing. And so that's what I'm saying. It's our fault. We always got to come back home, and we always got to make sure that home is good. And if our home ain't good, it's because we didn't do something. And that's what I'm standing by that.
Okay. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be like going to the back to the hood. It could be just pouring a positive conversation into one of these youngsters. When I went to San Diego last week for my uncle's funeral, I was talking to the young people, just telling them what was possible. You know, you could do that, right? Let's talk about it. Let's unpack that. I'm talking to my cousins who are my age. Well, have you ever thought about this? These are and of course, you know, because again, proximity and access. They don't have access and proximity to the things that you have, Nessa, or you have, Joe. They don't have that access. And so just bringing enlightenment to the possibilities to people that we deal with on a, you know, that maybe we rarely deal with. They don't have the same understanding that maybe my children have, because the exposure that they've had to certain people. But I love that. We do have to just, a positive word to somebody can be the difference of their life. So 100%, I'm in agreement with you. There's another video I want to watch, and I want to unpack this one too.
I do not know, and I do not understand, but I think it's just interesting to see this trending. And usually it's like suburban Black girls that are saying like, oh, like I'm Black, but I don't like ghetto people or whatever. But then I grew up on like the girls that I saw were like the complete opposite. Like they were suburban girls that were glorifying and founded an aesthetic to be from the hood or to be ghetto. And it absolutely made zero sense to me. And till this day, I don't know what it is. I don't think I'll ever understand it. I'm not gonna lie to you. The only thing I could think of is like maybe like life is just so chill for them that they want some chaos, and so they go and like be with people that have like a struggle, like that see struggle in life. But I was like, shit, girl, like if you want to come over, like I'll show you some. Like I don't know.
And when you become a woman of a certain age, don't nobody want no struggle love. But I certainly understand. I certainly understand. I have a cousin that I used to hang with. She's the same age as me. And it was so funny because she's like me, and we were like totally opposite guys. I would like the little square dudes. They said I like church dogs that was up in the church. And then she'd be like, dude, I'd be like, get new. Like she was like that. Like we were totally opposite, but we used to hang out, but we were attracted to two very different type of men. But you do have that a lot. Have you seen that, Vanessa?
Oh, I've definitely seen it. I mean, you know, it's honestly as just the growth of seeing having vision for who your partner is. That is one of the most, I think, important decisions you can make. So like if you're always around a guy that's getting into trouble, that's in the streets, he's going to eventually pull you into that in some capacity, right? So I think that's another important thing for our girls. And I want to touch on something because I feel kind of the opposite of and Dr. Felice, you said not allowing music, but I purposely allow certain music for my daughter to listen to because I need her to have discernment because I know it's some little hood dude who she gonna, because she a little suburban girl, but I don't want her to be impressed or think that it's cool because she's never heard it or experienced it or been around it. So I think giving discernment, which I feel like a lot of our children don't have. They just, like you said, listen to the colors, watch the Colors movie, and now you a Crip, you a Blood, because you're just so impressionable. So I feel like sometimes exposure and giving kids understanding that this is not reality. We gonna put you, this is not reality. This is not something we glorify. This is not what you should aspire to be or be like. This is for entertainment. Like having those clear boundaries. And I feel like growing up, a lot of girls didn't have that. They was listening to rap music, looking at the rap stuff, thinking like, oh, I want that in my husband. Meanwhile, like you mentioned, Snoop, he over here married with a whole family man. I mean, we could go down the list. Ice
He ain't
Cube,
always been a
all
family
of them.
man, but yeah.
Exactly. I seen a video clip of Cardi. She was playing her music, right? The ratchet music. Her daughter walked in, she clicked it off instantly. You know what I'm saying? So they know, right? So it's just like, but if your kids don't have discernment, they hear something, they green. They like, oh, I want the thug. Look at him, so
But to your point though, I was like Dr. Felice. So my daughter, first of all, she didn't listen to the radio until she was in 8th grade. I didn't allow her to listen to the radio. Like everything was like PG 13. And then I started allowing her to listen to certain things. I remember she was listening to Bobby Schmurda. I think I put her on punishment for like 2 weeks. And then she got into college, and she said people were talking about things that she had no idea about. And she was like, I used to be like acting like I know, but then I was going and Googling it because I had no idea. So she was like, Mom, you shelter me too much, because then when I went to college, I had to learn the hard way. But for me, it's like, I'm going to let you be a child as long, and I had no regrets. She didn't like it. I still have no regrets because it's like, no, you're going to maintain your childhood. You're going to be grown for the rest of your life, child. But as long as you're here, you're going to be a child. But she was like, but I wasn't prepared. So, maybe there's a balance between the two.
Well, can I step in and say that, because a lot of people think that certain things your child should, and I don't necessarily sign up for that either. Because my daughter, she went to all Christian private schools. I didn't have to show her anything because them bad Christian kids was showing her everything in up under the sun. Yeah, so please, right? So what is necessary though for a child is that whatever value you are talking, you also have to be walking, because that is what children follow. And they're quick to call a parent a hypocrite. Like, you telling me not to do something, but you're doing it too. So this is what I said. If I had a value, my daughter had to see me walk in that value so that she could never say that the two didn't align. And also, my daughter went to college because my job was to get my daughter to college, come hell or high water. And I did. And when she went to college, she just said something different. She was like, Mommy, thank you. Now I see, because I demonstrated wisdom. I showed her what discernment looked like. I told her how to pray. I told her how to seek God. Like, I showed her that. I modeled it. So when my daughter got to college, everything don't need to be taught. You're going to learn, and shelter, whatever. Your child is a citizen of the United States that's not in jail, Don't have a teenage baby. You get what I'm saying? So she be all right. And whether or not she thinks she was sheltered or whatever, she was way ahead of those other kids who think they know stuff about the
She know
world.
that now, yeah, but she didn't appreciate it then.
Right.
Listen, you said your job was to get your daughter to college. Mine was to not have her on Stockton Thoughts, where they had little girls with no shirts on, because it was a whole bunch of girls on it that made it to Stockton Thoughts. That I was like, my baby ain't getting on there.
What
So
is
anyway,
Stockton Thoughts?
girls, Stockton, the city I lived in, so they would have Instagram pages with little girls that was sending in little boys pictures with no shirts on and stuff. And they would put a little on a little page. It's like, nah, that's my goal, is make sure she ain't on Stockton Thoughts. Anyway, we'll talk more about this, because from you, Joe, because you were an educator, right? And so did you see that with a lot of those suburban girls, they were going towards those bad boys? You know, you have the idea that, you know, the good guy always finishes last. They don't get the same amount of girls. They don't have the same amount of access. You got to be a little rough in order to get somebody. Did you see that when you were teaching?
Yeah, for sure. And it was tough because I was kind of a nerdy dude who grew up in the inner city, right? So I saw real hood dudes do real hood things. So, but I taught in suburbia. So watching these little dudes pretend to be something they not, and then kind of watching the girls almost force them to pretend to be something they were not, because they were saying what they were attracted to. They were going online, going on Instagram and Snap and all these other places, and looking at these versions of young men that they think they wanted, and saying, "Hey, I'm attracted to that." And these boys were coming to school, you know, with their pants hanging off their ass and all these things, trying to pretend to be something they were not. And it was very hard to talk to them about, you know, what's really gonna sustain in the future. You know, I'd be looking like, look, this little dude over here reading his book, and if he's what you gonna want in the future.
Yeah.
And this dude right here that you chasing after, this is about where he's gonna peak at, 8th grade. So
Right.
it was really tough. It was tough. I remember real quick. I remember when I was a freshman in high school. I walked into my first day of homeroom, and there was these 3 girls talking about these boys sagging their pants, and I was in my seat, like trying to pull my pants down because they was right up on my waist. You know what I mean? Trying to fit in, and I was like, nah, this is dumb.
It's
I
stupid.
pulled my pants up, and I proceeded to be friend zoned by those 3 girls for the entire.
Constance. So ask this, Joe. So what about?
Wait. We got to go to commercial. Can you
Are
ask?
you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, you know, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
When?
Hi, I'm Marla Layson, and I am an SEO strategist and business growth expert, and I'm partnering with the Fly Nubian Money Club to help you grow your business or personal brand. You know that social media page or website that you've been trying to get traffic to but couldn't? Or maybe you're a brand that wants to connect with just the right audience. Well, I've helped my clients achieve 100% success using data-informed techniques, metrics, and SEO strategies to help them grow. And now it's your turn. Join me on Saturday, March 8th at 11 a.m. Eastern for our SEO class, where you'll learn how to use keywords to attract the right audience, the SEO tools and analytics that you need to help track and grow your business, and of course, how to turn your website visitors into paying customers. So join me, Fly Nubian Money Club, SEO, let's grow.
Hey, that was good stuff. Good stuff. Listen, this Saturday, you guys are in for a treat. Marlo Layson, who also happens to be a Net7 collective, she is doing an SEO, a search engine optimization training. And listen, without SEO, your business won't grow. Ooh, what?
Mm.
Without SEO, you know what? I'm quitting. I'm just gonna become a rapper. Without SEO, your business won't grow. So you guys get on this training. Make sure that you are part of the Fly Nubian Money Club so that you can take this SEO training with Miss Marlo Layson. One of the things that you said, Joe, and I'm gonna let you go, Felice. I remember being in high school, and I remember like the boys was trying to act gangster, and I used to just be like, "You guys look so." I came from a very hard family, so I used to just be like, y'all mamas work at IBM and HP. Y'all are not gangsters. Y'all live in 2-story houses. What the fuck is y'all? I used to just clown them. I'd be like, y'all are dumb. I was her, but I was also the one that used to clown the little ugly boy that looked like Lou Rawls as well. So I just was not nice to none of these silly little boys. As I was sort of a mean girl, but I just thought it was. I've never been that one that was impressed by that type of thing. And boys definitely they just like you said, Joe, they base what they do based upon the response from a little girl. And if little girls was giving them attention, and that's the reason why they were acting that way. That's what they wanted. When the boys was nerds and all that stuff, and girls wasn't looking for them. But when them boys start calling them bitches and hoes, they was running up behind them. I never understood that, but it's the truth. But Felice, you said you wanted to say something, Joe?
So what about the opposite? Because like a lot of times what I noticed too was that there was a certain type of girl that men are attracted to. And they're not necessarily the smart girls. Like a lot of women will dumb down, and be afraid to have an intellect or really smart conversation, or will camouflage or try and blend in to make sure that she stays attractive to a man if she has too much intellect and not enough freak, or not enough zhuzh, whatever that thing is, or not enough pole, whatever that is. And so what do you find about that too? Because I think that's the trend. And now you have women who have lowered their standards. And I think it's like, who comes first, the chicken or the egg? Because what's that cycle like?
Yeah.
So part of what I observe, and I've actually sat in a room with young women and talked to them about what they're experiencing. I was really just there on a fact-finding mission, trying to understand, like where their headspace was. And it's really came down to competitiveness, right? You have to be competitive as a young person today, as a young woman today. That's what I understood. I mean, you got to get online. You got to be showing this, and this in order just to compete, right? Otherwise, you're not going to get, if you're not getting the looks or the likes compared to the girl next to you, then your self-esteem starts taking a major hit, and it starts affecting your mental health. Like this is what we're going into. So the girl, back when I went to school in the 90s, right? So the smart pretty girl was where it was at. You know what I mean? What you get on your grades is not even factoring in with young people today. They don't care. Your ambition, your trajectory of where you could be as a young woman does not even factor in with these young dudes today. They are just trying to knock as many down as they can. That's what I'm observing from the majority. Not everybody, but the majority of the young men that I'm seeing, you're just competing. These young girls are just competing to be seen, and they're doing things way outside of their character, sending nudes and things like that just to keep up. It's really, really sad.
Yeah. It's the dumbing down of our culture, and is it really glorified? Is it glamorized? Why is talking proper English acting white? Why is having money? Yo, that is some self-hating ass shit. And what's funny is Brother Man said nowadays dudes do shit to impress the other dudes, which is also very telling of where we are as a culture. But I have a friend, Dr. Umar. He texted me one day a couple weeks ago. Me and Tiara have this little joke, and he said, "Good Garvey morning, Empress." Anyway, we got a video from Dr. Umar.
The cell phone, social media, NBA playoffs. We have enough See, black poverty ain't the same as African poverty.
Right.
It ain't the same as Caribbean African poverty. It ain't the same as Brazilian African poverty. Our poverty is damn near middle to upper class in most other places.
Compared,
in the world.
yeah.
Do you understand me? And so because we don't have it as bad as other people, we think we winning when we losing. We think we winning when we lose.
Is that why, when Africans or the Caribbeans come over here and they be like, yo, you know what? Y'all got it easy. Like, you know what I mean? Y'all just being lazy.
Compared to what they come from.
Right, yeah.
And when they come, they take advantage of whatever they can do. So they'll work at the taxi. They'll work at the airport security, right? And they'll save that money and they will send it back home.
Yeah.
Many of them come over there to hustle and to send the money back home. And I don't have no problem with them doing that. You understand? But what I do need the African immigrant brother and sister to understand, America will give you opportunity that she will never give me because you are not a threat. You can be
100%.
deported whenever they feel like it.
True.
You can be stripped of your American citizenship or your green card whenever they feel like it. They can strip me of my citizenship, but where do they send me? Nowhere. We are the only people that cannot be deported. And that's why America can't stand us, even though she's the reason she can't get rid of us. So
Listen, go ahead, Dr. Felice. That's why I love Dr. Umar, because he be dropping them bombs. Felice.
That was powerful. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Love
Good
it.
Garvey morning, Empress. What you think about what he said?
That was powerful. And I'd never thought about that point that he made. Like, I knew that we're the only people besides Native Americans who aren't immigrants. Now, I knew that. But I never thought about the concept that we couldn't be deported, because where would we go?
We're in prison.
Right. I don't know. I have to sit with that. But I know that was some beautiful thought. And can I just say this? That, once again, that is the beauty of Black genius. Like, and that's what we need to be sitting around. We need to be sitting around the Dr. Umars and just having that deep dialogue and talk and seeping that seed into our hoods. That's what our little boys and our little girls need to be hearing. They need to know where we come from and our identity. I saw Dr. Boyce's and that other man's Be First trailer.
B1 trailer.
B1. Oh my gosh, Black First. Oh my gosh.
I was in that movie, by the way.
Are you? Okay, I'll be looking for you. But like, seriously, like the science that they dropped, that the richest man on earth was an African man, was a Black man.
Mansa Musa.
That's the seed. That's what we need to be taking back to the hoods, because a lot of our problem is an identity problem. We don't know who we are, whose we are, and where we come from. And when you understood that we are the reason for civilization, whites are living our life.
Ooh.
They're
Whites
living our life, and it's in reverse. And then what they did was they propagandized and brainwashed us into thinking and trying to erase our memory that that's where we are, that's where we belong, and that's what they stole. And so we got to get back to that. That's what we need to be planting that seed and then watering it. We got to get back.
Think about this. The glamorization of poverty is not new. Think about Good Times. We were just talking about that before the show, right? Where they were, and come on, in the comments, how many of y'all, let's be real, was Good Time your favorite show growing up? I mean, I'm gonna just go ahead and keep it real. Good Times was my all-time favorite show growing up. I loved Good Times. I didn't understand. I remember my cousin said, I hated Good Times because they could never get out. There was never no progress. I don't know how she had the foresight when we were like 10 years old to understand that they never got out. They never had the progress.
Now it's just embarrassing, right? It's cringe.
Right, now it's cringe.
Cringe watching Good Times all the time, bro.
Right, because they, every time, they there was an opportunity, Florida was like, no, James, we gonna stay po. Every time there was the Black Jesus came again, no, y'all, Jesus is white. Like, huh? No, wait. So it's very cringe, but this was glamorized and we loved it. And you think about the words to this all good times. Hanging in a child line, scratching and surviving. When you need a payment, when you meet a payment. When you meet those were good times. This has been glamorized, but there's some slides I want to do. I want to show you guys some statistics of where we are as a people. Black Jesus was your favorite episode, brother man? No, the Cosby Show. Yeah, okay. The Good Times was relatable to some people, Lawrence, but I don't think it was relatable to everybody because that wasn't my life. But according to the Census Bureau, the poverty rates for Black Americans was 20.8 in 2020 compared to the national average of 12.3. How did we get here? Did we get here by ourselves? A 2021 Federal Reserve study revealed that the median wealth for Black families is $24,000 compared to $189,000. That's the big wealth gap. How did we get here? Was it us? According to a 2021 report by the U.S. Census Bureau, 11% of households with children under 18 live in poverty. This is very sad. And many of these families struggle to pay bills. This is sad. And as of 2020, there were approximately 124,000 Black-owned businesses in the U.S., a growing rate at, I talked about this on my show earlier, a rate of 30% from 2017 to 2020, showing a shift towards Black entrepreneurship. And that is a good thing. We are growing as Black entrepreneurs. That's absolutely wonderful. But you got to think about this. That was sort of, Vanessa, ingrained. Good time. We all watch Good Times. And that was what they showed. You got to think about what's happening. You don't have any shows back then that had a two-parent household. Remember, Esther Rowe fought to have James on there because they did not want her to have a husband, and they eventually killed him off. But look at what's happening. Look at That's My Mama. Look at all those shows back then where they would not allow them to have a Black male in the family, and they glamorize the struggle. I mean, what do you think about that, Vanessa?
Oh, that's my bad. I'm still unfolding a lot, to be honest, Constance. But I don't know. I mean, I feel a part of what Dr. Felicia said. I just think we got to come to a space where we just educate our young people and really being confident in who they are, because like we do a lot. Like and nobody knows as parents. I mean, shit. I'm I'm figuring it out daily. But what I do is we read history to our daughter, and I do this thing where I'm like, there's no Black scientists, and she's like, that's not true. I'm like, then tell me one. And she'll be like, Katherine Johnson sent a man into space. Like we have those, she'll tell you, I'm like, Black people, she's like, Mansa Musa was the richest man in the world. So I think that it just begins with us as a community too, just building the type of confidence in our Black children so that they don't even desire to be impoverished. That's like teaching them that like this isn't glamorous. Like I had the opposite experience, because like I went to a school where, I mean, it was like, I joke with Tierra and say, shit, it was like lean on me. Like it was ratchet, but but it was a lot of love in that school. And I saw a lot of girls just go for the hood dudes. Like, even me, like that was what was glamorized. But like I said, I just had additional influences that was like, nah, that's not what we doing. That's not cool. That ain't it. And so I just think it's we just got to reach back and get rid of that mindset, because even when you talk about good times, that's a mindset to be in. That's an enslaved mindset where you're thinking that this is my birthright. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is the epitome. This is what being Black is. So I think once we start changing that with our young people, then we can come out of it. But it was just a lot of good discussion today. And honestly, I'm just really letting some of it simmer, and it's, it's a lot, but we got to start here. We got to start changing this, and how we feel about ourselves, how our Black men feel about themselves, how what they teach their children, what we teach our daughters. Like it just, I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah. To your point, Dr. Felice, I'm gonna let you do your final thought, but I did have when there was a lot of comments that in the comment that said men do what's cool to them is what women like, right? So they do what the girls is gonna like. And so what do we teach our girls how to present themselves so that can make a change with how the maybe men behave? Like, or should it be that way? Is that the chicken egg thing, or should it be the boys that are stepping up? Like, what do you think? And then take us out.
So I think we both have equal responsibilities, but I think since the burden falls on the woman, I think we have to take our rightful place and we have to understand our leverage and we have to keep a standard. All of our boys, I know they used to say that, men are dogs. Men are dogs if you are a flea. And so what you have to do is a man will rise to his kingdom if you stand in your value as a queen. And if all Black women unite and educate their daughters and love on them, give them good love, so nobody can just roll up on them and tell them, oh, you cute, and they accept it. And that's all they settle for because they're bigger than cute, right? And so if we can stand in our standard and understand our value and our leverage, our men will rise. And so I'm going to leave on that note. And I just want y'all to know that I'm the B.Big coach.
Hey.
I love showing people how to show up in their big. And one of the things that I teach you is how to get back to identity, because that is key. So please reach out to me on my website, which is www.thebebigcoach.com. I'm the Be Big Coach on Instagram and on Facebook. And I look forward to being able to be a part of your journey.
I love it. Thank you, Felice. You always bring us back down to reality. You always make it do what it do. You gonna put us back on, Tiara? What we doing over here? What we doing? I don't see us. Do y'all see us?
No, I don't see us either.
Okay, is it just not just me? And we
There we go.
Well, hello.
But
no, but she was absolutely right. The men only gonna be dogs that attract the fleas. Any fleas in the house? Joe, I want to have you do your final thought, and where can they find you?
I'm gonna say this. Listen, I'm not gonna tell anybody what to do, but here's what I recognize about what I'm doing in my corner of the world. I am somebody's hero. That's just it is. I didn't ask to be this. It just is what it is. I'm somebody's mentor. I'm somebody's influencer. So that's not a responsibility that I asked for, but it's not one that I take lightly. And in some ways, I did ask for it because I showed up in my community and decided to have influence on young people. So what I'm saying is that if whatever you're doing, whatever's going on in your part of the world, you are somebody's hero more than likely, whether you know it or not. So have the courage to show up as the best version of yourself, the authentic version of yourself, and then understand the plight that we are in as a community. And what our influence, our everyday influence, has to be stronger than the media's influence, than the music industry's influence, and we can actually impact and make a small change. And that small change can be passed down. You touch one, that one person can touch three. Basically, what I'm saying is what Tupac said one time was, I might not change the world, but I'm going to spark the mind that does change the world. We all have that power and ability. So, don't take it for granted. And you can find me at realuconsulting.com, where I'm working on healing and getting people back to their authentic self and showing up in the world as genuine as possible. And you can also find me on Tuesday nights on Vulnerability is the New Sexy. We're having really impactful, important conversations. I'm hearing it all the time. I really want y'all to come join us, have input on these conversations, and not me trying to get famous, but I'm really trying to promote healing amongst our community because we need it more now than ever.
He's trying to promote healing and get famous, y'all. Vanessa.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. I think that everything starts with our youth. I think that if we want to propel in society, we really have to change the mindsets of youth. I always talk about how important it is for our children to know who they are and where they come from, and to feel valued and confident enough that they can really do anything. And so I think that's important. Like I said, if there's a way to mentor a young person or to share an experience with a young person or to give a young person an idea to want to experience something. For me, that was traveling. So I think when I started traveling, I didn't really go nowhere until I was 18. It just opened up my mindset. So if we're being just that person to one other child or one other youth or teen, if we can change that, if we really start being intentional about that, I think that we can really make some headway on the conversation that we've had today, because we know that they're not going to stop giving $1 million checks to market, murder and drugs to our community. It's always came in a different form. You can look through the decades. It's always been the same thing. So I think we just have to definitely step up and teach our youth when to have discernment, and then how to be confident in what they're doing. My name is Vanessa Gopal. I'm an entrepreneur. I run a construction company in Los Angeles. If you are in the Los Angeles area and you need some construction services done in your house, remodel.
Dang. So the reality is, have Black people made poverty a struggle? Black people made poverty and struggle glamorous? And the reality is we didn't get here by ourselves. We didn't get here by ourselves. You've got to look at the historical perspectives, like Vanessa said. And I'm so glad, Vanessa, one of the things that you did do is with your children is you teach them real, true Black history, because that's what's lost. The thing about it is, if we don't know who we are, we don't know where we're going. If we don't know our past, we don't know our future. And I think that's very important. The only thing that we've been taught about being Black is the struggle. And we're fabulous. So we make everything fabulous. But we got to know that we're more than the struggle. And I think that's what Black people really have to understand is that, listen, y'all, we are beautiful. We are Black. We are beautiful. We are pride. And we are more than just a struggle. And so, yes, white supremacy has put us here. There's been no other group of people that have been targeted in the way that Black folks have been targeted. But now it's time that we take our rightful place. It's time that we wake up, we take the blinders off of our eyes, and we start to see what's really going on. They're not looking out for you. They're not going to save you. We have to save ourselves. That's the bottom line. And the only way that we're going to be able to do it is if we work together. That African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you have to go together. And that's the only way, y'all, that we're going to be able to make it. So I want you to reach across the aisle to the Black person next to you and say, look, let's go together. I want to be able to share this and impart. I don't like when I go on vacation, I want to be the only one on vacation. I want other people to be able to go with me. I want them to have what I have. I want them to get what I get, because there's enough out there for all of us to have. That's the realest thing. And that's the best thing about living in America. Let's take advantage of the opportunities. They can't keep us down any longer. So that's where I'm at. Listen, I have so much going on, so much training that I have that I want to pour into y'all because I love you so much. I have a 2-day Bring Your Idea to Life training. It's a 2-day immersive training on the 15th and the 16th. And that's going to be an awesome training that I'm going to help you go from ideation to manifestation to monetization. I help you to get your life together. So if you're interested in that 2-day immersive training, go to thinkbuildmonetize.com. We have the Grow Your Money Club, where there are over 30 trainings that'll help get you on the roadmap from being an employee to an investor, because that's important. And if you're a Black woman or you know a Black woman, let them know about the Net 7 Collective. It's where I'm helping Black women build an incredible amount of wealth. And we're actually out here making history, and I'm proud of it. So any of those things, you can go anywhere where I am Constance Carter, or go to my website, constancecarter.com. So this has been an awesome show, you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the Fly Nubian Money today. We've had an incredible conversation about how our culture views struggle and poverty and how it intersects with our resilience. What's the key takeaway? Y'all, we deserve more than just surviving. We deserve thriving. And it's time that we start embracing that mindset in every area of our lives. Keep striving for the life that you deserve, because guess what? You do deserve it. And guess what? We are stronger together. So until next time, stay empowered and keep working to maximize your money. Now, we're here every day, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Same bat time, same bat channel. And if you want to get text when we go live, or if you want any information from the Black Business School or Fly Nubian Money, text the word Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. You can find us on Spotify. Let's go look for Fly Nubian Money. Otherwise, we're going to see you tomorrow. Peace.